Coming up on Valley News Live at 10, examining the need for more vaccine here in the Valley.
Why some North Dakota lawmakers say they need your tax dollars to pay for their meals.
Plus, how President Biden is delivering hope to Minnesotans seeking citizenship. Valley News Live at 10 starts right now.
This is Valley News Live at 10.
President Joe Biden's first full day in office focused on rolling out his national strategy to get the pandemic under control. He's signing several executive orders.
One of them in particular is already getting people talking. It would share the nation's pandemic supplies, including the vaccine, with other countries.
Valley News Team's Courtney Lockey explains how this is coming at a time when health experts here are pleading for more supplies. And she joins us now in the studio with latest. Courtney?
Thanks, guys. Experts here in the Valley tell me with the manpower and space they have right now, they could be vaccinating twice as many people, but the supply isn't there. A nationwide vaccine shortage making its way to the Valley.
The bottom line is the supply is far, far lower than the demand, even amongst those patients at highest risk.
Sanford doctors tell us they need more doses. Here in Cass County, they're already well into vaccinating those in Phase 1B. The flight is even worse across the river. Clay County still has 1,000 people left to vaccinate in Phase 1A.
We need to get vaccine out to all of our citizens across the U.S.
Several speaking out today as President Biden is seeking to ship vaccines to other countries.
He certainly is hearing from governors of all the states about the shortage and the inadequate supply.
It's always nice to help other people, but you can't help other people if you're not okay yourself.
Canadian leaders have already asked the president to share 1 million doses with them.
I thought of it as an analogy to like what they tell you on airplanes, where always make sure that your mask is secure before you help others. And I think in this situation, that's what we should be doing.
The president is planning to up production, promising to vaccinate 100 million people in 100 days. Experts say even once more doses make their way into the state, it takes at least a week to get them to the right place.
Well, I think the whole country is eagerly waiting for more options for vaccines. So the more manufacturers, the more vaccine supply.
Still, health experts have their doubts after the first 20 million doses promised by the end of December never came. North Dakota is getting 10,000 doses of the vaccine each week. Minnesota is getting 60,000 doses. Remember, if you're trying to figure out the number of individuals that would be vaccinated by that amount, that number is cut in half since each person needs 2 doses. At this rate, it would take more than 2.5 years to vaccinate all North Dakotans and about 3.5 for Minnesotans. Andrea?
All right, thank you, Courtney. So far, nearly 69,000 North Dakotans have received their first dose of the vaccine, and just over 200,000 have in Minnesota.
With Facebook and Twitter censoring and banning numerous social media accounts over the last few weeks, some lawmakers are looking to protect users. Representative Ben Koppelman of West Fargo is co-sponsoring a bill that would go along with federal law offering immunity to social media sites on some censorships, but would prevent them from censoring information shared on their platforms.
Section 230 would provide liability protection for somebody like Facebook. Now, Section 230 also says for reasonable reasons they can do censorship, but those are listed, and those would not be, do you slant politically right or left, or limit what people read on Hunter Biden or something like that. It wouldn't be like that.
Koppelman adds that the bill would allow social media companies to give up their immunity to censor information. To hear more on the proposed bill, you can find his full interview on Valley News Live's app.
Taxpayers may be paying for Lawmakers Meals, according to a proposed bill, after the Ethics Commission put limits on lobbyists and interest groups paying for lawmakers' food. Bill sponsor, Representative Keith Kempenich, says some lawmakers may be losing money during the legislative session instead of making it.
But it gets painted in a bad light. The point is to have it where you don't have to be independently wealthy to run for the legislature.
Start our day.
The representative says 127 lawmakers would qualify to receive up to $35 a day, which would cost taxpayers around $423,000.
Currently in Minnesota, when you renew your license or get a new one, you have the option of registering to vote at the same time. However, DFL lawmakers want to change that from an opt-in system to an opt-out so that you're automatically registered unless you ask not to be. State Representative Emma Greenman is the lead author of an election reform package that would also allow the state to send absentee ballots automatically to those who've signed up to be permanent absentee voters. It would also require every county in Minnesota to provide at least one secure ballot drop box location, and it would do away with the witness requirement for absentee ballots, something that was a court-ordered temporary rule in 2020.
If the record turnout of the last election has taught us anything, it is that Americans are clamoring to claim their right to vote. We need to embrace that, not stifle it.
The election package also includes automatically restoring the right to vote to felony offenders who are no longer incarcerated. The sponsors are hoping that they can work out some compromises with Republicans and win people over throughout the session.
President Biden is kickstarting efforts on another campaign promise, this sweeping immigration overhaul. His administration plans to create an 8-year path to citizenship for undocumented immigrants and preserve the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program. Charmaine Nero tells us the executive actions are delivering hope to Minnesotans seeking citizenship.
I came to the United States when I was 3 years old.
Carolina Ortiz is one of more than 700,000 Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program recipients, also known as Dreamers, in the U.S., now issuing a sigh of relief.
I can definitely tell you that it was just a moment to breathe.
One day after newly sworn in President Joe Biden issued a series of executive orders related to immigration reform, including an end to the Muslim travel ban and a plan to preserve and fortify DACA, which provides temporary relief for Dreamers brought to this country as children.
We are really heartened by the fact that the new president has committed to changing our immigration system on day one.
President Biden also introduced the U.S. Citizenship Act of 2021, new legislation sent to Congress that would provide an 8-year pathway to citizenship for undocumented immigrants.
The president's priority reflected in the bill are to responsibly manage the border, keep families together, grow our economy, address the root causes of migration from Central America.
The Department of Homeland Security also announced that the Biden administration will halt most deportations for 100 days, but some say it will take bipartisan support and time to reverse administrative changes that happened over the last 4 years.
An investment in resources to roll back changes as quickly as possible, and then to really move forward into progress.
President Biden also signed an executive order reversing the Trump administration's policy to exclude undocumented immigrants from the census.
The Traill County Sheriff's Office says the man who was wanted in an attempted murder case in Mayville, Norberto Zapata Jr., has been arrested and currently in the Grand Forks County Jail. Officers say they saw him on surveillance video stab someone with a screwdriver in the head and inner thigh. Just last week, we told you about the assault that happened on Mayville State Campus. At the time, the 4 people on your screen right now were all charged with conspiracy to commit aggravated assault. The victim told police he was punched, stabbed, hit with a bat, and also run over by a car on the campus by these men. The victim's condition is still unknown, but the Traill County Sheriff told us earlier his injuries were substantial.
Still ahead tonight, which North Dakota college is now serving food using robots?
But first, today feels extremely cold compared to yesterday's spring-like temps. Hutch is going to tell us which direction we are headed into the weekend.